Cody, let's just say, where should we go next in this show? I don't know. Where do we start? The Red Rocket? The Red Rifle? Where do we start?
Yeah, I mean, we have to start with a little bit of the Red Rifle. Fitterer has been on a roll lately. And I don't know. This is very controversial depending on who you're talking to, depending on what you think this means. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle himself, is a Carolina Panther. The veteran free agent quarterback, Andy Dalton, has reached an agreement on a 2-year, $10 million deal that includes $8 million fully guaranteed with the Carolina Panthers, a max value of $17 million. And if I put this in the right order here, let me make I believe it was Will Kunkel put out that he was pretty much the only one who was willing to basically kind of accept his role. That, Jacoby Brissett was looking for a more of a long-term starter type of a deal. And whereas Dalton knew that he would come in here and sort of be a backup. It was Joe, no, wrong one, damn. But it seems as though Andy Dalton knows that he's a backup and he doesn't mind that role. So with that being said, dude, I love this, man. You could do far worse for a backup quarterback than Andy Dalton. I mean, I really do, especially knowing that we played 4 quarterbacks last year. If you have an injury, yeah, you're going to need someone to be able to step in a pinch. And I think Dalton is a good sign for that.
He's not a bad sign. Actually, I don't really care what people think. Well, I do. I care what all y'all think, and I want you to get in the calls and get in the chat and tell us what you think. But for me, I just looked at the number for is how much did this cost, right? Because whoever we get, we're not gonna love. We're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God. I mean, maybe even we were all gonna be waiting for that draft pick. We're all just looking at them as a placeholder, a bridge at worst, a placeholder at best until we get that rookie rolling with the ones. And I just look at this and I look at it as like, hey, this is a 2-year, not, you're paying a little heavy for a backup quarterback, but you're paying heavy for a backup quarterback in a time where you need someone that could probably be there for 2 years. I mean, really, it's a 1-year deal. They can get out it. It's 1 year, $10 million. So after this season, they could get out of it. They could find a way to renegotiate, to restructure that contract if they are interested in keeping him around and he likes working with Reich and the clipboard and Josh McCown. So I guess, if we're upset, we got to be upset about the $10 million. But isn't that probably the rate right now?
It's basically $8 million.
Well, and also, I kind of look at it like this: if we're signing him and he's coming in knowing he's going to be a backup, we're almost putting ourselves in the same kind of position we did with Cam coming in, where we have a good backup quarterback. Because didn't we claim for the longest time, at least, it ended up being that way, that we had the best backup quarterback in the NFL with what's his name?
Oh, Derek Anderson.
Yeah, Derek Anderson.
Hated that
look,
dude.
Dalton's a 2011 draft class. He came out of the same class as Cam Newton. He was highly touted coming out of that class, and he did have a lot of success in Cincinnati.
He's had more success than who. I kind of think of this as isn't this better than what Pittsburgh did last year with Trubisky?
Yeah.
In fact, let me look up the Trubisky deal at you guys. But this
a lot better, dude. People forget that Dalton was a starter for a long time for the Cincinnati Bengals, and in fact, and dude, that year 2015, which is very special to Panthers fans, the Cincinnati Bengals were one of 3 undefeated teams for a long time that year. So Andy Dalton has played a lot of good football, and I'm excited to at least have some stability behind whoever we're going to draft. Now, the real question is, and this is what has everyone terrified, does this open the door for the Panthers to either trade down, maybe with the Colts or whoever wants to trade up a little bit, in order for us to take Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, or, God forbid, take them at number 1? And there's so many rumors floating around about who the Panthers are interested in. I don't know. It just the terrifying scenario is that this opens the door for one of those dudes at number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what it says for that, to be truly honest with you. I think this is honestly just signing a legitimate backup quarterback. Because I think that if you're going for Young or Stroud, then there's no question that they're going to be the starter coming in. And I don't see a reason in trading up for number 1 if you're not going for one of those two guys. Just period.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna love this no matter what. Is he gonna be just a backup? Or do you think the Panthers are coming into this with the attitude that we might even try to sit our number 1 draft pick until we feel he's ready?
You
Are
do
they
that
going to
behind a
start him
great
from
quarterback.
day one? You know what I'm saying? With this guy right there?
Yeah, if we don't trade down, then he's a backup. If we trade down, if we trade down and we pick an AR, for instance, yeah, Andy Dalton's going to be our starter. And I hate to say that, guys. Andy Dalton is going to be our starter if, in fact, we decide to trade down. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm personally a fan of, getting a guy who's ready to start. I know that there's a lot of value in letting the guys sit for a year, but I just don't know that we're in a situation where we can do that. I think we have to get this guy out on the field, and we have to be able to. I don't think that the franchise can afford not to have a guy who is going to be the face of the franchise immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're picking number 1 and you don't trade back, that guy has to be on the field come week 1.
I agree.
Yeah, and again, it no matter what, this shouldn't scare you. It should make you feel good that we do have a comfortable backup now. And listen, man, this is not me giving up on my belief in the talent that is Matt Corral. But dude, now you might as well see what you can get for the kid. I mean, even if it's a 5th round draft pick, man, it's like he's not going to be the guy over Andy Dalton or whoever we draft number 1. I genuinely do feel bad for the kid. I feel like we never got a chance to see what he was capable of doing. But I mean, if this is going to be what it is now, yeah, man, we might as well see what kind of draft capital we can get for Matt Corral at this point.
Does
and this
this
is
mean
not me
PJ
saying that
Walker's
he's
done too? Does
probably
this mean that the Panthers? Well, I mean, they're going to run with somebody into camp. They got to run with a third. What it's going to be that Jacob Eason dude? Maybe their third quarterback in camp.
maybe
Just in camp. It's like not that somebody they're going to keep on the roster throughout the season, but you're going to have some bodies out there to do some stuff when the other guys are taking a break. I saw somebody say, "Boy, you better get the sunscreen ready for Spartanburg, Andy Dalton, because you're about to get cooked out there."
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Hey, so do we really have to look into signing somebody else? I mean, we have Corral on the 2nd year of his rookie contract. He's got 3 years on his rookie contract. Why couldn't we maybe get something for him? But it might just be worth it just to keep him, just to have a third guy.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean,
we thought he was going to be a starter one day when we drafted him.
If I was Matt Corral, I would probably be wanting to go somewhere.
I mean, you probably just want a shot, period. It doesn't matter where it's at. And now, to be honest, it's going to be fleeting. It's going to be difficult to get a shot anywhere, honestly, like a real one. Look, somebody put in the sideshow said, didn't Frank Reich draft Jacob Eason? So you can go ahead and mark that down then. If that's the case, then you got yeah, those are going to be the 3 quarterbacks right there is Dalton, the rookie, and Eason. Yeah, and you might as well get something for him. I don't know what you could get. That'd be interesting. Who would you – I don't know who would be a good fit for that, but we'll be continuing to monitor. Obviously, the quarterback situation is the talk of Panther Nation. What's up next?
Yeah, so Bradley Bozeman, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, signed, and he is back with the Carolina Panthers. We have been waiting for this for such a long time. I mean, listen, all followers of the C3 Panthers podcast know that we did a charity drive for them earlier in the year, helping kids get all kinds of supplies and things that they need. And yeah, we love Bradley Bozeman. He's even taken on the identity of the white rhino, which I love. But listen, man, we have a special gift from Bradley Bozeman to the C3 Nation, courtesy of your very own Codizzle Allen making this happen.
Hey, this is Bradley Bozeman with the Carolina Panthers. So excited we signed back with Carolina for the next 3 years. Me and my family are ready to get back there. We got some of the best fans in the NFL and can't wait for this upcoming season. Keep pounding.
Yeah, Bradley Bozeman back in the building, telling us to keep pounding. CK, that was cool. I appreciate that, brother. And yeah, boys, how are we feeling? How are we feeling about? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but they talked a little bit about how this is family, and the Panthers organization treats their players like family, and they exude that quality.
Do you think that's a little sucking up?
Who?
Like the fan? Like who is the Panthers? I guess is that just Tepper, because we don't know anybody else at this point. Maybe Fitter. Like, who is this who treats them like family?
No, I think that's what the Panthers have wanted. That's what we've done for a long time. And I think when people do stay here, that's why they do it. Because we do have this family vibe and atmosphere at the best of times. And even though we've been through different regimes, that's one thing that seems to be constant when the Panthers are doing well.
Well, do you think some of it has to do with fans maybe too? I mean, I know personally the C3 Panthers podcast, we've shown him a lot of love. We've loved the Bozeman family being here. And I think fans all around have too. Do you think maybe that's what he's talking about when he's saying feel like family? Like he's being accepted by the crowd, by the Panthers culture?
Well, yeah, we have. We've been all in on them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lynn says Nikki have said they got the direct support from the Teppers.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Look, as everybody has been, he's been a great story. I don't know if I can remember a free agent who signed a 1-year deal who was so beloved that also struggled to find the field at some point in the season, who his wife beautifully and masterfully runs their social media to make them fan favorites. And I'm not saying it's manipulative. I mean, they're just good at it. She's just good at being open and giving you a window and making you feel like they're normal people. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we felt included in their process of the baby. Speaking of more babies, we're having a baby shower tonight for CK. Roosevelt Mungo gave the show $20, and CK, the baby walker, off your Amazon wish list. Walk that one right off the list.
Hey,
thank you so much, Roosevelt Mungo. You didn't have to give a $20 dono on top of that. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome.
Patron Saint Roosevelt Mungo. He's the man.
True that. I think that what's awesome about Bradley Bozeman is that, one, we were so excited for him to come in after Paradis and F-Line, and then they still had this weird I don't know. They were kind of like, it was like, why'd you go get him? And then you didn't want to play him, it seemed like. And then he played well. Very well.
It's no surprise that it was Matt Rule. Just couldn't evaluate or identify talent to save his life. We brought in Bradley Bozeman for a purpose, and yet Pat Elflein got the start over him. It was just an utter lack of NFL talent evaluation, and it just makes us even more happy that we're finally rid of this man. No more Matt Rule messing things up for Panther fans everywhere, dude.
Yeah, and Matt Fool is gone. I wrote a story on CarolinaCatChronicles.com. By the way, I've got some response. I'm still going to reply to you guys who have shown some interest in writing and contributing to the website. I'm opening it up to all C3 fans. Let's make this is the people's show. We're the people's voice, the C3 Panthers podcast. Let's make Carolina Cat Chronicles the people's voice. And you guys go and do whatever you want with the dang with the website. I want to see your creative energy go. I put up a story though, Cody. Imagine how Matt Rule reacted when he heard the news that Carolina traded up for number 1. It's just you could think of the thoughts and the passive aggressive compliments. And our friend Dennis, what's his name? Dennis, I forget his last name, that does the Not Matt Rule. He came on the show and did his impersonation of Matt Rule. He did a video on his podcast. He has a podcast, and he said something to the effect of, well, you're lucky I got DJ Moore so much volume while I was here so he could get traded so you could get that. Like he took all the credit for all of it. It was fun. Bozeman, look, is CK, wasn't it you last night who said that the center market's just depressed right now? Like, they're not getting paid throughout the league. Was it you that said that, or did I hear that somewhere else?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It went through the floor. Now you have Jason Kelsey, of course, coming in here and making a really big 1-year contract signing, but I almost feel like that was just a farewell contract because this is most likely almost a guarantee this will be his last year. But yeah, no, it was really a really big dip in the market compared to what I think many people were expecting the Sinners to go for. Yeah,
well, and that's good for us. That's good for us. Kind of not bad for the Bosley family. I'm sure they're going to be just quite fine. But, it's not the days of, remember Matt Paradis getting all of that money and then coming off an injury. So it's not those days anymore. Glad to have Bradley Bozeman back. To be honest, guys, I would not mind to see the Panthers dip their toe into offensive linemen and free agency some more. And I want to see some guys. Well, I mean, I guess maybe we really have some faith in Cade Mays. Are some of these guys going to be able to step up? I just want to see some depth. We're going to need to be able to weather a guard getting hurt this year, or what I'm saying, we've got to weather those types of storms throughout the year, and that's how you get a strong an offensive line that can sustain throughout the league. It's a tough position to play, one where they get nicked up, banged up easily. What do we got next, Cody? Oh, the Panthers, the Tonight Show. Do the Carolina Panthers have enough firepower? And I guess this is the next component of free agency, right? Is how do we get some weapons for whoever, well, Andy Dalton at this moment, for whoever that quarterback is we draft, in the absence and without DJ Moore now. You're on muted.
So because of that, now the Panthers, we are bringing in Adam Thielen for a workout tomorrow. And a lot of fans have been talking about this, have been really interested in Adam Thielen. And I mean, my question is, what do we think this does for our offense? Would this be a big time enough signing for our offense to sign an Adam Thielen? Is that enough weapons for whoever we're going to end up drafting? To me, it opens up a lot of questions. He was a really good wide receiver in Minnesota, but for as good as he was never really the number one. Stephon Diggs was the number one when he was there, and then they draft Justin Jefferson, and obviously everyone knows what Justin Jefferson went on to do with Minnesota. But do we think that he would be a good fit here in Carolina? I personally do. I think he's a precise route runner, has really good hands. You're going to have to shade some coverage to him, especially when they put him in the slot. I think it would be a great signing. I don't know how expensive he's looking at being, but I would love this signing if the Panthers made it.
Let me see. When he came into the league, he did not in 2013. He didn't even receive an invitation to go to the combine. He was undrafted.
Yeah, he was a surprise when he was having he was breaking records for the most consecutive 100 100-yard games in a row. The dude was getting some really good good seasons in there. He is on the back end of that. He hasn't been as explosive as he once was, but as many of these wide receivers end up doing, that's pretty common. So, but I do want to thank everybody who's already gone on and helped out with that registry. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, a few other people that have posted in here. You guys are awesome.
He's always had a. You know what is? You could have said the same thing about Masim Muhammad, though, Cody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is like that. He never was the guy. He was always second fiddle to Steve Smith in that case. Or Thielen was is really. He kind of reminds me of a dude that's similar to, and maybe not the same game, but Ricky Proehl is a guy that's savvy enough. Never was great. Ricky Proehl actually was really good early on, but never the best dude on the field, but always a good player to have on the field. And I think he would bring a professionalism to the room that you're going to have to help these younger receivers try to find. I think you would need to dip early into the draft, though, if this is your answer. This is a short-term answer, but this is one of those stories that might work. Like, this kind of reminds me of the signings that we used to make in 2013 or 2015, where you get a guy who, they're past their prime, but they still got a little air in the tires, a little gas in the tank left to be contributors. I mean, who would be a better addition, him or DJ Chark? And I know that it's like, I know that one player you're going to expect more and pay more on a longer term. I would think Chark would be, he's more in his prime. Right. So, but who is going to play the role that you need? Do you need a veteran for their presence, or do you need production on the field more?
I think production on the field is more important, to be honest with you. I think at this point in Adam Thielen's career, DJ Chark has a higher ceiling than Adam Thielen does. But I think you're good with signing both of them. I'd sign both of them. They give you two different things, though. Adam Thielen was more of a slot receiver kind of guy. DJ Chark's a speed guy. So you're getting a tall speed guy with DJ Chark. You're getting a nice slot receiver with Adam Thielen. I think the combo of those with TMJ would be pretty legit, to be honest with you. That's a pretty good trio of wide receivers. And then you have to spend a draft pick on a possible rookie wide receiver.
And by the way, we're the first person or the first team working out Adam Thielen tomorrow. So we're going to be the first people to get a look at him. I'm assuming that means if we like him then and there and we have a good deal, we might not even let him walk out the building. Like if we think that he looks good and that he's healthy, we might decide to just sign him right then and there. My question is, DJ Chark, also theoretically available for the Carolina Panthers, 6'3", ran like a 4.37 at the combine, has incredible physical upside. He was an LSU receiver. Pair him with another LSU receiver and Terrace Marshall Jr. Would that be one of the more underrated receiving cores in the NFL? And would you mind paying a little more for that DJ Chark upside?
Does that make DJ Chark your number one? If you do that,
I don't know.
This is the thing. This is kind of going down the route of an old of the Lions team. Actually, he played with the Lions and the Jags. It's just a bunch of number twos.
Yeah,
everybody's a number two on the team, which might not be a terrible thing. Is it better to have two number twos than have a one and nobody, or have no number twos? And can you add in somebody in like the third round of the draft who's maybe unpolished that's going to be the bomb diggity later on? I don't know. I like the idea of Chark and TMJ together. I think that would be a cool addition, but you're right. That's tough, Greg, when you say, is he the number one?
I mean, the Chiefs just won a Super Bowl without a number one wide receiver.
Right.
So I mean, it's possible if you got the guy who can sling it to him.
Well, if there's one thing that'll push you over the edge, it's the one thing that's going to annoy the heck out of you, and that is me getting this stuck in your head. DJ Chark, do 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 do. DJ Chark, do 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 do.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, you better be ready for that song in particular. You've got a lot of that song in your near future.
Oh yeah.
But
guys,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, well, if we're going to talk about adding firepower, there is one more theoretical weapon out in wait for the Carolina Panthers, although this would involve giving up some draft picks to go and get him. The man who has seemingly played on every NFL team imaginable. That's right. Brandon Cooks is on the trade table. The Texans and the Panthers have mutual interest in a trade for Brandon Cooks. It says serious negotiations have not yet begun. And again, this is per sources, so trust at your own risk. We're just providing you the news and information. Boys, I personally would rather sign Adam Thielen or sign DJ Chark than trade draft capital for Brandon Cooks. He's played on a whole bunch of teams, but as YB Jordan is bringing to our attention, he was also a Saint. So that would make us
drafted by them, wasn't he?
That would make us 4 for 4 in drafting former Saints players in free agency.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's actually why we have to do it more than anything, right? Is we have to do it just so we can make this, so we can have Saints fans. Hold on this. We got to make it so there's more of this in the world. Just the one game where it's like the revenge game. For Brandon Cooks, and then like Tuttle gets a touchdown. Gets a sack or something. Here we go. This is what the Saints fans are going to look like.
Today is turning out to suck. Shy Tuttle, signing with the Carolina Panthers, has been a really good defensive tackle for us for a few years now. And I'll forever be grateful for the stiff arm on Matty Ice. But you are the enemy. You have crossed lines. I didn't have a problem with you signing with Cincinnati. But I've got a problem with you signing with Carolina. I wish you nothing but the worst. The Panthers. This is the worst one out of all three of them. This is the worst one out of all three of them. Blame it on your mama. Signing with the Dirty Birds. With the worst organization on planet Earth. The worst business. The worst football. I can't handle this on a Monday. This is the worst thing that could happen in my life right now.
Saints fans are totally not feeling okay, dude.
Dude,
hilarious.
You got to see this, and I got to credit. I think it was at Salesman on Twitter that pointed this out. Look, dude's wearing a Cox Cable shirt, and he's got he's got a Cox. He's like, almost could be taking customer service calls. He's on his break, and then he's like, "Welcome to Cox Cable." Oh my gosh, let's get Brandon Cooks just so that guy has another aneurysm on the day that I don't know. Look at Brandon Cooks. I'm sorry, like my mind lost my thought. Brandon Cooks has been super productive. Isn't it wild to have a receiver? First, he was a number 1 draft pick by the Saints, and he was nasty with the Saints.
He's a burner. He can take the top off of a defense.
He was it was the same year, or maybe it was the year after, Philip Dorsett and Baby Lockett from Seattle, Tyler Lockett. So these types of players that really started to make an impact in the league that were like that. And Cooks was like the most highly touted one, and one who lived up to the hype too. But I've never met a receiver who has been so good, or remember a receiver who's been so good everywhere he goes, but nobody keeps him. He's played, like you said, with every team, and everywhere he goes, he's crazy productive. Mm-hmm. From New England to the Rams to even in Houston, he was a great fantasy football option until this season when him and the coaching staff went crazy. They can't. I guess there is a new staff there. So Brandon Cooks got to feel some kind of way with that front office, though.
I mean, yeah, he's been through a bunch of different regimes there in Texas. So,
but remember, he got in a fight with them last year, and he was asked to be traded, and then he didn't. They sat him out. They sat him. They didn't. It was like he was out, dude, and it was just like arrest, and they put him. I mean, he was battling with that coaching staff, and I think more importantly, the front office to get out of Houston last year, and they were trying to subvert it. And so I don't think the relationship is going to be good there with him. So, I mean, they got to get rid of him, I would think.
Listen to this. The 29-year-old Cooks has been traded 3 times in his career. One more time would have him tie the record with running back Eric Dickerson and linebacker Kiko Alonso.
Wow.